Welcome to First Parish in Needham, a Unitarian Universalist congregation of humanists, theists, atheists, agnostics, seekers, and interfaith families. I'm Reverend Katie Scudera, she, hers, and I'm speaking on behalf of Rebecca Keller-Scholl, who needed to go down and be with her mom on the vineyard, right? Martha's Vineyard, who is going to speak today on behalf of the worship committee. You can learn more about what's happening at First Parish by going to our website, uuneedham.org, and signing up for our weekly e-newsletter, or by following us on social media at uuneedham. Our order of service is online too. There should be a few printed copies here as well. There's a QR code in your pews, or you could just go to uuneedham.updates.church. And please speak to our ushers, greeters, Zoom hosts if you have any questions or accessibility needs. At First Parish, we covenant to live our shared values of the inherent worth and dignity of every person, respecting the earth, and co-creating beloved community. Whoever you are, whoever you love, whatever your background or identity group, whatever your age or stage, whether you walked here or rolled here, whether you're participating from in the building or online, you are welcome here. Very briefly, I'll share with you about that the worship committee has recently had a major retreat for visioning as we emerge in the waning pandemic to our new hybrid existence, and thinking about the suggestions and recommendations that are coming out of the 5-year strategic plan task force. So essentially, you can expect that the worship committee may have some experiments in the new year, things that will be different in our liturgy. The first experiment will be Christmas Eve morning. Christmas Eve is a Sunday this year. How very inconvenient. Christmas Eve is a Sunday this year, and so at 10:30 we'll be over in the parish hall in a different kind of format, seating arrangement than usual, and we'll be having essentially our annual carol sing as our morning service. So there'll be more experiments like that to see what is it that we need now after quite a few years of pandemic, online, being isolated living. If you're interested in any of this work, you can speak with me or Dara, and we'd be happy to connect you to the worship committee either for one-time visits to share your ideas, or if you're interested in being on the committee and helping to implement these experimental ideas. Welcome again to everyone here in the building and online. We are so glad that you are here.
So I would like to invite the Sklarowitz kids up if they want to come light our chalice for us this morning. They're also stepping in for Rebecca, who couldn't be here. And because it is the month of December, we are going to, oh, wait. I've got this right. Sorry, I just needed to take a breath and get my head on straight. So we have both our Advent wreath to light. We're lighting 2 candles. Last week was the candle of hope, and this week is the candle of peace. And then after we light the symbol of the Christian holiday in December, we will also be lighting our chalice, symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. And one of the strange things today that we're doing for our chalice reading is, instead of a reading, we're actually going to have a video that was recorded by the president of our Unitarian Universalist Association, the Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt. So as soon as our candles are lit, the video will play. Thank you.
Greetings and glad tidings, beloveds, as we come together in this season of peace. As people around the world join together in prayer, in hopefulness, in striving and possibility. I bring you love, intention, gratitude, and hope from your Unitarian Universalist Association. I know that these times have been difficult, that we have been holding together this image of peace in the Holy Lands, peace in places that are central to many of us in our ancestry and in our prayers for humanity. But remember in these times that traditions and peoples across the globe are coming together for renewal, for possibility, for community. For Unitarian Universalists, we lean into the beauty, the goodness that we hold together in common cause. And as we head into the turning of the year, my prayer for you is that this will be a time of family, a time of healing, a time of recommitment and dedication to the things that bring joy, bring justice, bring peace, and bring meaning to our lives. Know that your Unitarian Universalist Association is with you, not only in preparing for all that is to come in 2024, but in gratitude for all that you have done and been in 2023. Glad tidings, beloveds, blessings on your holidays, and we look forward to being with you for all the years to come. Be blessed.
Our opening hymn this morning is number 221, Light One Candle, and it was written by activist and Jewish American folk singer Peter Yarrow, one-third of the popular singing group Peter, Paul, and Mary. He wrote the song to be a call for the end of war and reconciliation between all peoples. I invite you to please rise in body or in spirit and join in singing Light One Candle. The words can be found in our orders of service, online, on our screen, or at number 221 in the gray hymnals. And everybody, this is a jaunty tune. I want to see enthusiasm and excitement as we sing.
As we promised last week, our altar table is becoming wonderfully crowded with religious candelabra. Unitarian Universalists honor the wisdom of the world's religions and treasure the spiritual and cultural diversity present in our congregation. I'm inviting two of our Jewish UU congregants, Leslie Nelkin and Jan Galkowski, to light our Hanukkah, the particular name for the nine-tined menorah, and to offer over it a Hanukkah blessing. We're also delighted to have Ellen Fine offer prayers and light her Hanukkah at home, live during Zoom's social hour. Jan and Leslie, I turn it over to you.
That's great. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Hanukkah. Okay. All right.
Thank you both so much. As Unitarian Universalists, our covenant is our promises that we make to one another as a spiritual community, to how we will be with one another and how we will engage with our wider world. Please say with me the words of our parish covenant as in your orders of service and on screen. We gather as a loving community to encourage and comfort one another. We gather as a diverse community to support each other in our search for spiritual truth. We gather as a service community to live our beliefs through action and care for our world. Could you imagine if God populated the earth with people by putting those with various gifts and talents into separate jars and then sprinkled them upon the earth? Isn't that an interesting way of explaining the diversity of individuals in every community throughout the world? That is the first story told in the book, The Jar of Fools, 8 Hanukkah Stories from Chelm, written by Jewish-American author and educator Dr. Eric Kimmel. Kimmel explains in his first story that according to legend, God sent angels all around the world to sprinkle different sorts of people of different personalities and talents into every human community. But the angel carrying the jar of fools dropped the whole lot of fools on the little town of Chelm. Whoops! Though even our author wonders, are the people of Chelm really such fools? Or do they have some wisdom to share? Let's find out for ourselves in our Time for All Ages. This morning I share with you an abbreviated version of Kimmel's 7th Hanukkah story called The Soul of a Menorah. Many years ago, a farmer drove his wagon through the town of Chelm. He had some tools in the back until the wagon hit a bump and his hay fork fell out. Later, Beryl stumbled upon it, picked it up, and examined it carefully. You have to use your imagination a little bit. I'll explain why. What are you doing with that hay fork? His friend Fievel asked. Well, look again, said Beryl. The fork has 9 branches. 9, obviously. 8 of the branches are the same size, but the 9th is longer than the others. Only one object fits that description. A Hanukkah menorah, Fievel exclaimed. This must be a Hanukkah, Beryl continued, but how did it come to be lying in the street? Maybe it came down from heaven, Fievel proposed. Perhaps this menorah is a gift to us from God. Well, then we can't just leave it here, said Beryl. Quick, Fievel. Let's clean up this Hanukkah and take it to the synagogue where it belongs. Beryl and Fievel scraped the dirt off the hay fork and polished it until it shone. I'm not imagination. They oiled the wooden handle until it gleamed. They found a bucket of sand so that the hay fork could stand up straight and not fall over. And now the hay fork looked truly splendid. Beryl and Fievel carried it to the synagogue. When the people of Chelm gathered in the synagogue for evening prayers on the fourth night of Hanukkah, they were surprised to see a hay fork upside down in a bucket of sand. "Why is that hay fork here?" they asked. "Open your eyes," said Beryl. "Can't you tell a menorah when you see one?" "We found it in a street," Fievel explained. "God threw it down from heaven." The people gasped and found 4 thick candles to stick on the first 4 tines, and then a longer thick candle to stick in the middle and serve as the shamash. Word of the miraculous menorah spread throughout Chelm like fire through dry leaves. Then a farmer came by who had been searching all day for his missing hay fork. "That's my hay fork," he shouted as soon as he saw the Hanukkah. The people of Chelm were outraged. "You fool," they shouted. "Since when does a hay fork shine like silver? Did you ever see a hay fork standing up lit with the Hanukkah candles?" The farmer insisted, "That is my hay fork." Everyone turned to the rabbi. "What is it?" they asked him. "Well," said the rabbi, "it certainly does look like a hay fork, but it could be a menorah. We'll need greater wisdom than mine to answer this question. We'll have to bring the Hanukkah, or the hay fork, to the seer." The seer was the holiest and wisest man of his time. If anyone could determine whether the menorah was really a hay fork or the hay fork really a menorah, it would be the seer. Early the next morning, Beryl, Fievel, and the rabbi and the farmer all piled into the wagon with the object in question and set out for the seer's city. The entire population of Chelm came along behind them. "Tell us what this object is," the rabbi pleaded. "Well, what do you think it is?" asked the seer. "It's a Hanukkah," declared the people of Chelm. "It's my hay fork," the farmer cried. The seer stroked his beard. This is not an easy question to answer. The object has nine branches. 8 are the same height, and 1 is taller than the others, so it could be a menorah. On the other hand, it does look like a hay fork. There's only one way I know to solve this problem. Outer appearances can deceive, so we must look inward to discover the object's hidden nature. Sparks of holiness can be found in the most ordinary of things. I believe that is what has happened in this case. The people of Chelm discovered the holy sparks hidden in the hay fork. They lifted the sparks up by transforming the hay fork into a holy object, a menorah. "That's right," said Beryl and Fievel. "But what about me?" asked the farmer. "I still need a hay fork." The seer turned to the people of Chelm. "The farmer has come here in good faith. He needs a hay fork to do his work. Here is my decision. The people of Chelm may keep their Hanukkah, but they must pay the farmer 18 zlotys as compensation." 18? cried the people of Chelm. "Who heard of such a price for a hay fork?" "What are you talking about?" asked the farmer. "Can't you tell a menorah when you see one?" So if you ever visit Chelm, don't be fooled about their synagogue's famous menorah. It may resemble a hay fork, but it has the soul of a menorah, and that is what counts. Amen, and happy Hanukkah.
Thank you, Reverend Katie. And as our children follow Reverend Katie to their religious exploration opportunities, please join in singing our special recessional for Hanukkah, Shalom Havarim. The lyrics are in your orders of service on the screen at number 400 in our gray hymnals. This is the time in our worship service when we share the joys and concerns that are very close to our hearts and our lives. For anyone not able to be here in the church on Sunday, I'm receiving pre-submitted candles at candles@uuneedham.org by the Friday at midnight before the Sunday service. And if you're participating on Zoom or YouTube, I invite you to type your candle into the chat so that it can be held by the community watching the service with you. I have several pre-submitted candles this morning. The first one is a candle of love and concern for our beloved Laura Nevitt, our music director, who is homesick again today. We miss her gentle presence and her humor, and we lift up prayers of healing. Our second candle is a candle of sadness and concern for the communities in Tennessee that last night experienced very violent weather storms, a series of tornadoes that touched down and left devastation and death in their wake. We light a candle of concern. And finally, I have a personal candle, and I offer a candle of gratitude for this community that has welcomed me with open arms and offered me kindness last Sunday as I assimilated the disappointment of being continued in candidacy. I am so grateful to be living and learning with and from you all. And now, if you are in the building and you have a joy or a sorrow to share, I invite you to come forward, light a candle. Please state your name, and if you would like to, please include your pronouns and briefly describe what's on your heart.
Hi, Jan and Claire Galakowski from Westwood. Yes, so we're here, unfortunately, again, because one of our pets. And I have a very short prayer here just to say, Lord, your faithfulness reaches to heaven, your steadfastness to the sky, your beneficence is like the high mountains, your justice is like the great deep. Humanity and beast you deliver, O Lord. Source of life, we praise you each day for the compassion that encompasses the earth and all its creatures. We give thanks for the gift of life that we shared with Dusty. Let us now remember her as she lived and brought joy to us. And Dusty was originally a pet of a nice woman in Natick, Bev there. That's where we got Dusty from. And from what we understand, Dusty used to run around outside among all the cars in Natick at this place. It's amazing that she survived. She also went down in the Bev's basement. There were a lot of mice down there that she chased. So we'll miss her a lot. And in the last few days, she was taken care of by Dr. Holly Kelsey at Chestnut Street Animal Hospital. So
She was wonderful.
yeah, she was wonderful. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lily. I haven't been here in a few weeks, but I'm only here today. Over New Year's, my nephews are coming from New York, but first they're going to Mexico, and I'm excited to see them. Another thing is my dog has bacterial infection. We have to go back to the vet, but he's fine. Another thing is I'm getting over an injury. I tweaked my knee the day before Thanksgiving, but I'm better now, and I'm happy to be back. And the week of the 8th, I will be that following Sunday. I'll be here every week.
Hi, my name is Andrea Grealish. My pronouns are she, hers. I'm lighting a candle of concern for my 92-year-old mother-in-law, who Kevin left me with. And she's just slowly going downhill. She fell and fainted a few weeks ago when I was out of the country. I got her some services. But this morning she called me, said she fell again. She's kind of confused. She said she's supposed to drive to church to pick up her friend. I said, no, you don't drive anymore. So I need a lot of concern for Barbara and for me taking care of her.
I'm Lynn Jakowski. Sue King called me today and asked me to please ask for healing prayers for Alan. He apparently fell on Friday in his garage. He collapsed and hit his head on the cement floor and went to Leahy Clinic. There's a branch right near them. And they were trying to, he was admitted, they're trying to determine why he fainted. His blood pressure was really, really low, but he stayed for 2 nights. Sue just texted me and they're on their way home. He did have at least 12 stitches in a jagged cut on the back of his head. So if you can all think of him and hope he heals quickly.
And now for all the joys and sorrows that remain silent in our hearts and for the prayers of our neighbors near and far, we light a final candle. May the peace of this sanctuary be felt, too, wherever you are participating from. As we remember that even though we are worshiping at different times and places, we are all still deeply connected. And as we shift now into our time for prayer and meditation, I invite you to settle into your pews. Feel your body held and supported by the seat beneath you and the ground beneath the building. And breathe with me in and out. Our prayer this morning comes from Queer UU minister Reverend Dorothy Mae Emerson, who died unexpectedly in 2019. Universal Spirit of love, O God within each of us, whose power reaches to the stars, whose love connects us one to another and to all of creation. We are one. We cry out in pain of this broken world. With all our capacities for love, we ask, why? Why can't we wrap this world in love and bring healing? We confess that we are not always able to express the love we know is inside of us. We feel constricted and hesitant, afraid that our love will be rejected and misused. We pray for forgiveness, that we may learn to forgive others and accept forgiveness of us. Help us let go of fear so that we can move on, opening our hearts to one another. We pray also for empowerment, that we may learn to love more fully. Let our love shine forth from this sacred place, that others may know that here they will find freedom, acceptance, community, and love. We give thanks for the blessings of love in our lives and for the chance we have to love again and always. May we feel the love inside us, connecting with the love in each other and in the stars. Amen, and blessed be. Please remain seated and join in singing our meditative response, Dona nobis pacem. The lyrics are in your orders of service on the screen and can be found at number 388 in the gray hymnals. This congregation has been supported by the volunteered time and treasure of its members and friends since its founding in 1711. This is the time in our service when we, the modern stewards of this church, offer what we can to build and sustain the congregation and the world we envision. For the month of December, our collections are being split 50-50 with Pathways Family Shelter. For many years, Pathways Family Shelter has provided a communal living space with 14 private family rooms to help local families with children get through difficult times. First Parish is a long-time supporter of Pathways Family Shelter. Through our offering collection and Mitten Tree Holiday Gifts program, this season, we at First Parish are sponsoring presents for children in the Pathways Family Shelter. And thank you to everyone who is already signed up to sponsor one of these children. And after the service today, congregants can sign up to buy gift cards for the Pathways Shelter because the shelter often gets families that come in late and aren't included in the mittens that we've given out. So your gift cards purchased for Walmart or Amazon will go to support those children. To donate to today's offering, you can use one of 3 different methods as described in detail in your orders of service. And you can drop money in the collection box or a check. Please do whatever way you give, specify whether this is your pledge or for today's collection. And if this is one of your first times visiting First Parish, we encourage you to fill out our yellow card in the pew to drop in the collection plate or fill out our online card at uuneedham.updates.church. Many thanks to Barbara Ridge for the beautiful flowers given in memory of her beloved sister Mary on her birthday. And thank you for everything that you are able to give to help support and sustain this congregation and the vital work of our community partners. May the ushers please come forward. I always feel like I'm the luckiest of the ministers when I get to preach on a Sunday that the parish players are playing. Our reading this morning is To Love the Hell Out of This World from Boots and Blessings, Ruminations from a Texas Unitarian Universalist Pastor. It's a blog post from January of 2014, and it's by Reverend Joe Fontaine. To love the hell out of this world means to love it extravagantly, wastefully, with an overpouring abandon and fervor that sometimes surprises even yourself. That love flows out of you, sometimes slow and steady, but sometimes in a torrent, sometimes filled with joy and sometimes with fierceness and anger, or a heartbreaking pain that makes you say, no. No, I can't do this anymore. I can't do anymore. It is too much, too much. But it's too late. You've opened your own heart, your own mind, body, and strength, and yes, it is too much. But there's also so much love that comes crashing down on you, gifts from the heavens in the form of smiles and cares from others, a giggle burbling up from the belly of a fat little toddler's belly, the soft, sweet smell of star jasmine catching you unaware, not knowing where it came from, but it's here. And you're here. And just to live, just to exist, swells your heart with enough gratitude and love that you must release it or burst. And so you love the hell out of this world again. Without scale, without ratio, without carefully allotting how much you will give versus how much you will receive. You love because you must. And it's the air you breathe in, the water you swim in. It's the rushing in and out of creativity, of self-expression. It's seeing the amazing, amazing, amazing gifts of people all around you. It is loving with awe, with reverence and irreverence, seeing the miracle in a lump of dirt, in a shy hello, in forgiveness, in standing in the shadow, and watching the joy someone else experiences without you, and yet feeling connected through time and space with all who've been and all who are to be. We love emphatically, actively, with our hands and feet, pushing the wreckage aside, reaching down, stretching until we fear our arms can go no further. But they do, and we touch fingers with another. And then we grab on for dear life, pulling them out to safety, then going back to remove the hell itself before it traps someone else. We round a corner only to find hands waiting to reach, to pull us to safety, to warmth, for we are both Savior and the saved. The hell is all around, and we work in great passionate swoops, in slow, plodding routines to put the extravagant love into action and remove all the bits of it from the world. Misery, ill health, disease, viciousness of greed in the face of want. Voices that shout hate or whisper meanness, soul-eating addiction, humiliation, despair, injustice that curls up nastily, poisoning the spirit of giver and receiver. But we do not flee. Our job, our mission is to take all that love, all that overflowing, passionate, undying agape, and train it on the hell that exists in this world. We are Unitarian Universalists, from one source, from one destiny, here to love the hell out of this world. I don't know if I need to say any more. I love that reading. And I gotta say that the first time I heard that slogan, love the hell out of this world, I was at the first GA I ever attended, and it was the one that was in Providence, Rhode Island in 2013. And I was in the vendor hall, as one does, buying all my UU swag, and there was a t-shirt, emblazoned on the front was love the hell out of this world with a big flaming heart. And I bought that t-shirt. The person selling it told me a story that they heard the slogan came from a UU mother whose child had cancer. And she got through the very tough time by focusing on love. She felt she was loving the hell out of the world with every chemo treatment, every surgery, and every doctor's appointment. When I heard that story, my heart gave a sigh. Yes, it said, this is what we do. We love and we love and we fight. And we do what we have to do for the world, for our child, for anyone who we love. We love the hell out of this world. And I find this phrase also funny because you can read it two ways, right? Like you can say that we love the world so deeply and strongly, and the hell is simply a modifier, right? To tell everyone how very much we love the world. I love the hell out of this world. But the other is the one that really spoke to my heart. And it is that our love can be strong enough to push out the misery, to push out the hell, to block it, to deny it, to prevent it from taking hold and taking root. And I have to confess that I do. I do love the hell out of this world in both of its meanings. But sometimes I also have to confess that it is very, very hard. Especially at this time of the year, it can be It can feel challenging to get in touch with that sense of radical love, the exuberant, joyous, fierce overabundance of love that Reverend Joe Fontaine spoke so beautifully about. Because I gotta say, when Christmas carols and Santas and garlands start appearing in October, when the ghosts are right next door, and when the ramp up to Black Friday started 2 weeks before Black Friday, it leaves me with a feeling that December is less about the season of love, and it's more about the season of the love of money, of capitalism, and of consumerism. So, when yesterday at noon I was driving my younger child, Campbell, to the Natick Mall for work. I know you guys know where this is going, right? My thoughts were so far from peace on earth and goodwill to all of humankind. Because honestly, the mall is one place I avoid at the best of times, let alone at noon on a Saturday in December. So if you can imagine this, driving along, and all the cars, we are jockeying into position to drive into the entrance of the mall. There are streams of pedestrians that step off the curb, oblivious to the oncoming traffic. And then the general lack of courtesy, as rude gestures were offered on all sides. I began to feel like this trip to the mall was straight from a chapter of The Hunger Games. I wanted to turn to my child and say, "Okay, Campbell, I'm gonna slow, you tuck and roll." But instead, I pulled to a gentle stop, and I turned to my child and I sent him off with a quasi-pleasant, "Have a great shift and I love you." But as I drove home, something magical happened to interrupt my Christmas shopping. I was listening to NPR, and it was sort of burbling along in the background as I was mostly frustrated with traffic and pedestrians. But suddenly the words, "falling back in love with being human," pierced my post-mall drop-off exhaustion. My heart leapt and my spirit took flight, and falling back in love with being human, I had to say it out loud. I had to repeat it because the words felt like a balm. So I got home and I immediately Googled those words, and it turns out that they are the title of a new book by trans femme Chinese Canadian author, poet, activist, and psychotherapist Kai Cheng Tom. It's a series of what the author calls love letters. She says in a letter addressed to dear readers that she is writing letters to the harm doers in her life, that she, quote, needed to know that she could love them, because that meant that she could still love herself, as hopeless and lost as she had become. From the depths of her rage and despair, she needed to find her way back to love. Have you ever felt this way? That you needed to find your way back to love? And I know that I have and that I do. And when I feel that way, I have often reached for Reverend Joan Fontaine's blog post. When I need that reminding that love arises in and among the hard things, it is to accept that life is shattering and excruciating, and that we must open our hearts to loving the world enough to drive out that misery and the hell. It is loving our neighbor, our sibling, the stranger, enough to see the spark of holiness within them, especially when they are on the other side of a conflict or the other side of a political divide. Reverend Joe reminds me that there is a great furnace of love, a fierce and abundant love that acts as a bulwark against injustice and indifference. It is a huge love that bursts free, galvanizing us into action. But there's also times when I need another kind of reminding. The kind of reminding that isn't about rage and despair. Sometimes I need to find my way back to love from simply plodding along in life. Driving my kid to work, making dinner, picking up clutter and more clutter, and folding the 100th load of laundry for the week. I feel sometimes like I'm just mindlessly checking the boxes of life. And I need to be reminded that there is love too in these small and mundane acts of life. It's a quiet love, though, a caretaking kind of love, attending to the business of life. This being human is to feel curiosity and awe and joy and love. It is to be deeply connected. But let's be honest, it's also to be frail, to make mistakes, to be distracted and to be checked out and to forget our interconnection with others. And I got to admit again, that month of December distracts me almost every year into forgetting. In the hustle and bustle of shopping for the perfect gift and planning the holiday meal that has everyone's favorite treat, I forget. I forget that all the hoopla is grounded in love. Love of family, love of friends, love of strangers. It is grounded in the love of tradition, in the love of ritual, in the love of God or spirit or whatever you use for the mystery beyond our understanding. And I need my heroes like Reverend Joe Fontaine and Kai Cheng Tom, who loved the world enough to share their vulnerability and their inspiration, to bring me back to falling in love with being human. Kai Cheng Tom offers suggestions between her letters of love, and they are for how. How do we fall back in love with being human again? These are small suggestions that are to play a song for the child in you, or to draw a compass and inscribe your 4 most important values on the 4 compass points. I wonder, what is your true north if you were filling out that compass? What is the value that most keeps you oriented? The author's suggestions help us to never forget who we are. So in the interest of experimentation, I thought we could try one of these suggestions here together this morning. Yes? Are we ready? Okay. So on page 14, she tells us to write a prayer of hope on a piece of paper and leave it somewhere for someone else to find. So this morning, I'm not going to make you pull out paper and write that one, because I did that in advance. I wrote it down on my virtual paper. And I begin my prayer with a poem, because hope always makes me think of a Rosemary Watola Trommer poem called Hope. And it goes like this. Hope has holes in its pockets. It leaves little crumb trails so that we, when anxious, can follow it. Hope's secret? It doesn't know the destination. It only knows that all roads begin with one foot in front of the other. Please join me in prayer. God of our loneliness, Spirit of our lost souls seeking to find our way, may we stumble upon these crumbs of hope, and in gathering them up into our pocket, may we take the next step toward finding the next crumb, gathering hope as we follow the road of possibility. May we too have holes in our pockets, so that these crumbs we are gathering can fall out and leave a trail for those coming behind us. May we be bringers of hope, tethering us one to another, because while we might feel alone, we are in truth part of a long, continuous line of human beings, following and leaving crumbs of hope for one another. Amen. I'm not sure how hopeful that prayer was, but it's the prayer that spoke in my heart. But the act of writing that prayer for another purpose, for another person, it did its job. As I thought about this prayer and knowing that I will be leaving it somewhere for a stranger to find, I began to feel connected to that anonymous person and by extension to all people. In the act of offering the prayer to a stranger, I felt a welling of the kind of love that could possibly love the hell out of this world. And if you all need reminding how to fall back in love with being human this holiday season, I have copied some of Kai Chang Tom's suggestions onto slips of paper, and they're here in this basket. And as the service continues, we can pass this basket around the sanctuary. And please take one if you too need reminding. Take one even if you don't need reminding now in this moment, because tomorrow you might. So I'm going to bring this down, and then we'll get on with our service. I'm pretty sure that we're all going to need a slip of paper because we all forget sometimes in the busyness of our lives to open our hearts to love with abandon, exuberantly, joyfully, softly, and quietly. I'm going to close my sermon with a blessing adapted from the lyrics of our hymn number 1011. It's called Return Again. In this busy holiday season, may you return again. Return to the place of your soul. May you return to who you are. Return to what you are, born and reborn again. That you may feel the welling in your heart of a life-giving and abundant love, calling out and leading you back to being fully present, fully human, and to love the hell out of this world. May it be so. Just need a deep breath before I go on to the next piece. So, as our service draws to a close, we've got a few announcements, as we always do. The number one is please join us for social hour, both in Parish Hall or in our Zoom room. And today during social hour in our parish hall, there will be a table set up for anyone who wants to send holiday cards to incarcerated UUs. The Grief and Loss Support Group is meeting today at 12:30. Also at 12:30 today, Tony Chikala and Reverend Katie will be hosting an information session for visitors and friends. This is a great opportunity to learn more about First Parish and to meet other newcomers to our community. Tuesday, the Lane Lyceum is both in person here and online, and the topic is Raising Resilient Children in a Stress-Filled World with Robert Brooks. Family Fun Night on Friday, super excited about, 5:30 to 8. We're gonna have pizza, we're gonna decorate cookies, that's my project. We're going to watch a movie, play games, and generally have a great time together. This is an intergenerational event. Please come whether you've got kids or not, because we are all part of one Needham First Parish family. As always, we have our recurring events, Fleet Feet on Wednesdays, Writing Escapes Vespers, and Meditation and Mindfulness Ministries on Thursdays, and Creative Escapes on Friday. Please see bell notes for details and links. And now, as we always do, we extinguish our chalice with words, promising to carry its flame in our hearts until we are together again, no matter how long it is until we are all together again. Please join me from home or here in the building in saying those words written by UU minister, Reverend Elizabeth Sally Jones. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, nor the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And our final hymn is number 244, It Came Upon a Midnight Clear. This is a 5-stanza poem and Christmas carol written in 1849 by Edmund Sears, then minister of the Unitarian Universalist Church in Wayland. Reverend Sears is said to have written the words at the request of his friend William Parsons Lunt, then ministered to our congregation in Quincy. The music is adapted from an Old English melody. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and join in singing the first 3 verses, because I am again going over time. Of It Came Upon a Midnight Clear. The words are found in your order of service on the screen and at number 244 in your gray hymnals. Our benediction is to go forth and love the hell out of this world. Love extravagantly, love boldly, love softly, love calmly. But do love the hell out of this world.